Hey guys, welcome back to the WODdoc Project 365, episode 381. Yesterday what we did was address ankle restrictions. Today what we're doing is addressing not ankle, but hip restrictions as well. So if you didn't see it, if you didn't catch it, about 2 episodes back we talked about distinguishing between ankle limitations and hip limitations. We're talking about the squatting technique. So yesterday was ankle, today is hip. Now we're addressing 3 aspects or 3 elements of which we can do, or which we can perform to increase hip flexion. Now, when we're talking about terminal hip flexion, it's important to understand the squat technique. Okay, so when we get down past parallel, when we're attempting to get past parallel, it's not necessarily squat terminal or hip terminal flexion in which kind of limits the squat, but it's the inability to externally rotate the hip so that the hip can get to the outside of the body, which generally limits it, okay? Now, so if you look at it like this, if I was to keep my knees inwards like such, if I never get them outside to allow my hips to come down and in, it's very difficult for me to get into that upright position in which I'm attempting to do so. So, we got 3 of them right now. The first one that we're gonna talk about is mobilizing the hip complex, or what we call the posterior hip complex. That's going to include all the musculature around here. We don't want to necessarily differentiate between them because we're going to smash and bash all of them. It looks like this. What we're going to do, we get on our mobility device. We cross. Whatever leg is down is the leg that's crossing like such. We're going to push that knee downwards like such, and we're just going to roll up and down. If we find ourselves a hot spot, we're going to call that a 10, and we're going to continue to roll until that 10 turns into a 5. We're going to spend 2 to 4 minutes right here. Once we do that, we're going to come around to the other side. Picture that this was both done on the left side because it's going to be done bilaterally anyway. And what we're going to do is get into a banded pigeon pose. Now, pigeon poses are generally done to work on hip extension of the back hip, but what we're using it for today is to work on distracted, because we have our band right here, hip flexion, okay, while in an externally rotated position. So what we're going to do is we get some distraction right here with the band, low anchor on our side, and we're going to pop up right over top like such. Okay, we're going to spend another 2 minutes coming in and out of this position. How do we come out of it? We allow our hip just to fall to the side. How do we come into it? We drive our hip right over top of our chest, and we look ourselves up like such. And we spend about 3 seconds right there. Our final position in which we're going to do Kelly Starrett's favorite, we call that the couch stretch. We're going to spend some time working on those anterior hip flexors. Okay, what we're going to do right here is we're going to get our knee. Come on right through. Go ahead. No, don't worry about it at all. What we're going to do right here is we're going to drive our knee all the way down towards the wall. We're going to get the other knee up like such, okay? We get ourselves into this exaggerated lunge position, okay? Where our back knee is forward, our back knee is back with our our heel up towards our buttock region right there, and we're going to drive ourselves forward. What are we doing there? We're getting hip extension while having a flexed knee. This collects all the slack and the anterior hip flexors and really allows us to mobilize them. Why do we care about them? Because they can affect the anterior hip, okay, and give that little pinching sensation when we get all the way up in here like that, right? So we got ourselves 3 mobilizations, 3 elements to mobilize the hip, okay, and hopefully that helps you guys out. Guys, until tomorrow, we're optimizing function to optimize performance.